The DCA Board of Directors met this morning in closed-door session to make a decision that could decide the fate of the War on Poverty program in Dallas. Whether or not to accept a reorganization ultimatum handed down by the Office of Economic Opportunity last week. Board Chairman George Zimmermann ordered the meeting closed to the public. Plainclothes sheriff and police officers backed up that order. After more than 3 hours of secret discussion and voting, the board emerged with a decision: acceptance of the OEO course of action for correcting the DCA's problems. Although the majority of the board voted in favor of the OEO report, board member Stanley Gaines wasn't pleased with the decision.
It never did come out as to whether they had to approve it or whether they could had any choice about it. It was the kind of thing that looked like, OEO was saying you got to do it. And, of course, my question was, why then do we vote? Just go ahead and do it.
Is the entire plan implemented then?
Well, it's not implemented yet. It's going to take them the time limits. They got days and days and days to implement it.
However, Board Chairman George Zimmermann was elated with the board's acceptance of the OEO course of action for the DCA.
There were several board members who did dissent, including Mr. Graves and Mr. Gaines on particular areas, but the board almost unanimously voted on all of the conditions and implementing all of the conditions, which means that now the control of this agency and the good that it can do for the poor is taken out of the hands of a few and will be put now into a broader-based community activity, which I'm very pleased and elated with. I think we've taken a giant step towards making this agency work for the poor people and for all the people of Dallas, and to better serve the public and the use of the taxpayers' money so that it's assured that most of it is more efficiently used to serve the poor and not a small few people.
The OEO report bore down on the DCA board for failure of the anti-poverty efforts in Dallas. Today, most of the board members accepted that criticism and agreed to follow the OEO's plan for breaking the cycle of poverty in Dallas. Martha McIntire, Channel 8 News on the Move at the Dallas County Courthouse.
I think the major reason has been because the Chicano in the United States has been in a subservient position, has been oppressed, has been repressed, has been depressed. The fact is that we have a long history of political racism and political discrimination against the Chicanos. This is the major reason as far as I see it.
I am very unhappy to hear it. Science and technology used to enjoy the highest respect in this country. It is no longer so. Our young people are no longer interested. This blasé attitude you refer to is part of the story. If we don't respect science and technology more, we won't have a good life. We won't be able to defend ourselves. This country was made great by the interest in science and technology, and that we are no longer interested when we are shooting for the stars is one of the most deadly symptoms I can think of.
I think the individual item to which we addressed ourselves was general agreement on the various points in the bond program upcoming. And I'm glad to say there was almost unanimous agreement on all of the various points. During the last few weeks, the city manager's office and the city government people have met with citizen groups from all over the entire city and have come up with, admittedly, more expenditures in the bond program, but that's what the citizens wanted. So this has been a direct response to here today, that is, during this weekend retreat on the part of the Citizens Council in response to their request.
Mr. McDonald, if the citizens of Dallas should approve these added expenditures apparently in the bond issue, would that necessitate a tax increase for the city of Dallas in the year to come?
That in itself will require an additional allocation of taxes. And it's too early to say for sure whether we can cut out any tax increase. We are working toward a no tax increase budget for this year, as we pledged ourselves to do last year. And we will hope that we can develop enough savings and or other sources of revenue to not have a tax increase.